Okay, today's video is continuing the theme of job interview tips and advice that I give for people. And today is specifically to do with video calls, Zoom calls, Skype, whatever your chosen platform is. Now, this is going to be broken down into 5 categories, okay? In no order of importance, it's just how I rattle them off and basically how I've got them written down on the notepad in front of me. But it's going to be 5 categories. So, let's get into this. Number 1. Contrary to popular belief, there is no such thing as an informal interview. You might hear this spiel, the recruiter or the HR person will say, oh, this is just the first interview, it's just an informal chat just to get to know you, just to see if you're a good fit. Bollocks. There is no such thing as an informal interview. So, I always tell people, dress in the way you would dress for the job. If your job involves you being in an office with a shirt, tie, jacket or whatever, formal wear, dress the same way. Alright, maybe not go down the whole tie and jacket situation, but at least be wearing a shirt. Don't be sitting there with your Grateful Dead t-shirt with holes in it. That ain't gonna fly, okay? Dress and look as if you were going to the office. So... and that's literally everything. If you've got a beard, make sure it's got the crumbs out of it from your sandwiches. Do your hair, nails, whatever. You need to look as if you're actually going to the office. Don't be thinking, well, it's a Friday afternoon, no one really cares. No, there is no such thing as an informal interview. On another subject, which is also sort of related to a later thing about technology, be mindful of what you dress. Don't wear anything with patterns. Stripes in particular. There's an expression in camera spiel about a thing called moire, where stripes start to go all crazy because the camera can't cope with it. So ideally just wear like a single color outfit that looks good on you and that you feel comfortable in. But definitely don't go for bright patterns, don't go for stripes or check or anything like that. Keep it simple, elegant, businesslike. Location, location, location. As the old saying goes, when you buy a house, it's every bit as important when you're doing an interview via camera. So let's start with the basics. If you have a background that looks like mine, this is all kinds of bad for a job interview. Unless your job interview is for something creative, you know, you're a graphic designer or, I don't know, some kind of artsy person, then yeah, this sort of background would work. But for a regular office job, hell no. You don't want all this distraction. I always say to people, the perfect scenario is just a plain wall of some sort. Don't be sitting right up against it. Put a bit of space between you and the wall so you don't look like you're up against a wall, you know, in a hostage situation. And be mindful of doorways and windows that are cutting through the middle of your head. You don't want that. Because this background, believe it or not, is actually done deliberately. Everything is positioned in a certain way. If I was to move my head, you'll see there's some crap behind me, but it's being blocked by me. All this is deliberate, even though it looks chaotic. Go figure. So you didn't know that about me, did you? Light is very important when it comes to cameras. Modern webcams are a lot better than they used to be, certainly better than they were 10 years ago. But they still need a lot of light, otherwise they look grainy and crappy. In the northern hemisphere, that's north of the equator, if you have a window that faces north, that is going to be the best light you're going to get, provided it's not like super cloudy. Otherwise, find another window. If it's facing south, don't have direct sunlight coming into your face because it's going to look like garbage. Put like some kind of sheer in front of it, like your grandmother's net curtains, okay? Because position of light and intensity of light makes a huge difference. If you've got like a spotlight shining in your face, even from above or wherever, you're going to look like garbage. So be mindful. And if you're doing this interview at night, don't sit yourself directly underneath the spotlight. Just practice. Sit back from it, forwards. Just practice it. Just move the camera, move yourself, your location, so that you look right. Like, you know, it's not for nothing that us YouTubers, we have a light just there. It's known as the Rembrandt technique, where it's 45 degrees in front and pointing at us. There's a reason why all YouTubers use this sort of setup. Okay, it's large light source, soft, hides your wrinkles, hides all your terrible hairstyles, gets rid of everything. Okay, so be mindful of where you're doing it from the point of view of light. And don't have high contrast situations like a mega bright window just to the side, okay? Because then it's going to look even worse. So try to find some neutral, flat, nice, big, flattering light. Don't have mixed light source. Don't have daylight with a tungsten bulb. If you're doing it at night, again, don't have mixed lighting. Have just one light source. Otherwise, it's going to look like garbage. And another one, when we're talking about distractions and what have you, probably the biggest, worst, most terrible distraction is children. They are the worst distraction you can have. If you do have children, my recommendation is to go to a hardware store, buy some chain and some padlocks, take your children to a park and just chain them to a park bench for the interview, and then come home and do the interview in peace. Don't worry, no one's going to take your children. Seriously, if they're there on the end of a lump of chain, it's quite clear that they're not good children. So just leave them somewhere else, just park them somewhere else so that you can do the interview in peace, in quiet. I know from talking to quite a few HR people, this is an issue. Quite a lot of interviews have come to nothing because of screaming children in the background or children coming in and interrupting the interview. You know, if you can't keep control of your children, well, why should they give you a job where you're supposed to be controlling a team of people? Makes sense, no? So, next, camera position. Now, I have the camera position more or less level with my chin. And these days, that is, in the world of photography, the accepted level for a decent portrait style picture. Don't have your camera low down, right? Lift your laptop up. If you're using a webcam on your laptop, lift it up. Because you don't want to be looking down at the person, because it's like a sign of intimidation. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've had meetings with people where I'm looking straight up their bloody hairy nose. It's not a good position. And don't have these webcams that are super high up either, because you'll end up looking like a lost child on the sofa. It wants to be level with your chin, directly in front of you. Oh, and the worst one, the one that drives me to distraction, in fact, I have cancelled meetings with people when they do this, is when the camera is here and they're looking at a screen over here. And they spend the entire time talking like this, not looking at me once. This is guaranteed to piss me off in no uncertain terms. So, face the camera. Remember, the person is in the lens. Next, let's get deeper into technology. Now, I know there's a lot of you who've got your super powerful Macs with the M4 chip and it will do I don't know how many megabytes of this, that and the other. It is not infallible, okay? Technology. Interview is important. You want this job, you don't want to have problems with technology. So I always say to people, the only tab that should be open and operating is the one for the video call. And when I say don't have other tabs open, I mean closed, deleted, off, shut down, completely gone. When you look at your computer, there should only be one thing open. It's the video call, nothing else. I always know when people have got 47 tabs running in their computer because the video starts to look choppy and the sound becomes like that. It's always because of this. They've got 14 tabs open, and sometimes when I'm talking to someone and they need to open a new document or they need to screen share with me or something, suddenly the whole thing falls to pieces because the computer can't keep up. So close everything. Literally shut it down, completely dead. Only the video feed. Now, another pet peeve of mine is Bluetooth. Bluetooth is the work of Satan. Okay? Please get some wired headphones, right? I know they look a bit naff these days, but they just work. Okay? Plug them in. Test them, make sure they work. You know, it's just two wires coming down here, the microphone is here. Just use that. They just work. Bluetooth is the most sketchy thing. And the worst ones, by far, and I know people are going to hate me for this, are the bloody iPod ones. They are garbage. The amount of meetings I have had where people use the Apple the Apple, yeah, well, you know what I mean. The ones that look like a piece of broken off electric toothbrush in your ear. Those ones are absolute garbage. They are the worst ones. Just don't use them. Just use a wired system. If you must use them, if you can't live without your bloody Bluetooth headphones, for the love of God, have them fully charged. Right? And I do mean fully charged, like 5 minutes before the interview is when you take them out of their case and put them in your ears. Right? Not after 2 hours or whatever. Immediately before. Make sure they are 100% charged to give you the best opportunity of them not crapping out on you during the interview. But I still say go with wires. Right? Just don't use Bluetooth things. They are garbage. And now we come to the last point. And this is try not to be a zombie. Okay? Try not to slouch in your seat like this. Also, don't lean right in like this, because this is all kinds of super bad. Okay? And I just realised the microphone's all the way back here. But just don't lean in. And don't become a zombie. And don't get transfixed with your preview in the bottom of the screen. You know, remember, the person you want is over here. Yeah? By all means, check yourself every so often. Just look down. But don't become a zombie looking at your own preview. But by the same token, don't stare continuously down the barrel of the camera. You know, when you get asked a question, it's perfectly acceptable to sort of like look away while you're thinking like, oh yeah, what year was it that I was doing that? Or yeah, what was that thing that happened at work that I overcame? It's acceptable, yeah? But just don't become the zombie, either looking straight down the barrel of the lens for the whole time, or looking at your preview in the thing. And as much as possible, I know this sounds weird, but try to enjoy it. Just try to relax into it. The more importance you put to this interview, the more likely you're going to fail it. Okay? I always tell my clients, you know, just go to every interview expecting to fail it. Just don't worry about it. Just chill, relax. If you put too much pressure on yourself, you're going to bollocks it up completely. So, you know, just chill, relax. You know, if you've got a job already, you know, the bills are paid. Don't worry so much about the whole interview thing. And that's basically my tips for a successful Zoom, Google Meet video call interview. Okay? Try to do those things and you're already way ahead of most of the other people. And all of this advice comes from the last 12, 13 years of talking to HR people, managers and what have you about interviews they've had. You know, there is no such thing as an informal interview. So don't be sitting in the interview swigging from a bottle of whiskey eating a sandwich. And you might think, who the fuck would do that? But one of my clients did tell me that happened during an interview. So enjoy, and I'm thinking that because there's going to be about 5 or 6 videos, I'm going to start a playlist, so they might already be linked down below. But at the time of making this video, this is only the second video, so yeah, maybe give it a bit longer. But yes, and if you like this video, stick around, hit the like button, subscribe and all that sort of crap, because I'm a very needy person. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.